This video chart presentation of IPAS Inc. It's a NASDAQ listed stock trading ticker IPAS. Pretty volatile chart over the last few months. Highs up at 236 back in August, all the way down to lows at $1.29. Back on the rebound since early in December. But I think this chart's at a critical point right now. A tough resistance level, some dynamic resistance to the 200-day moving average, right on a trend line coming from the highs. So facing some pretty stiff obstacles trying to move forward. But it's showing signs of bullishness since bottoming in December. So just want to keep an eye on this going forward to see if it's going to break through this $1.80 mark and punch its way back above the 200-day moving average. You can see the MACD was in a downward trend, making lower lows and lower highs. Did manage to break that cycle, move back upward, get back over top of the zero line, which is very important. But it looks like it's losing some steam. You see the histogram bars trending back towards zero. So I'll be watching for this to hold over top of that zero mark to maintain a bullish trend. And again, that's going to go right along with the idea of breaking through that resistance. You can just see from the MACD that the trend is a little bit indecisive at this point. Similar look to the PPO. ADX is down relatively low, right around 20. So it's considered being in a trading pattern, not a true trend. Again, a relatively neutral look. MFIs over top of 50 is what I want to see. But again, you can see how it's all starting to level out as long-term MFIs are moving lower. Accumulation distribution certainly indicates there's been a fair amount of selling pressure in the stock. Even as the stock price has been climbing from those lows, the accumulation distribution line's been running downward, indicating selling. And a little bit shorter term, seeing some life in the Chaikin money flow, which down in the red below zero indicates that over 20 periods, buying pressure is being outweighed by selling pressure, but is slowly starting to climb its way that way. And that'll be an important point for this chart, to see the selling dry up and to see it break back above zero. CCI, it's still riding on the bullish side of things. The technical buy signal comes on the break of 100. Full stow kind of going along with everything else, holding above 50, which is in bull chart territory. But again, you can see the steam coming out of the momentum. And the trick's similar to the MACD, but it moves much slower. It's defined a little bit differently. It's bullish that's moved its way upward and broken through zero, but flatlining a little bit right now, indicating that the trend is losing some strength. It's actually a pretty nice look to the RSIs. It's not really too far above 50. It's kind of that breaking point between bearish momentum and bullish momentum. But it is holding that level. It has been holding it ever since the climb from the bottom. I'll certainly be looking for that trend to stay intact and for the RSIs to try to climb a little bit closer to 70 to show that the bulls are gaining control of momentum. So the indicators are roughly where I'd expect them to be, leaning towards the bullish side of things with the price per share climb, but kind of stuck around a neutral area. A lot of black candles in here, a lot of red candles. That's where you see the selling pressure, and it's indicated through the accumulation distribution and CMF. You can see what a difficult time the price is having bumping through $1.80. 200-day moving average is sitting right in that area at $1.83, reinforcing the resistance. And as I mentioned, there's a trend line coming from the top, also right through there. So adding it all up, there's a fair amount of pressure right there at that spot. And it's an important point to try and help this chart swing back into a more bullish look with regards to momentum and trend to try and bust through $1.80. On the support side of things, come right through this $1.65 mark. Perhaps running right up to around $1.68. Call that a general area. Put it at $1.65 with regard to the horizontal support. 50-day moving average is right in that area, $1.65. Any break below that, this chart might lose all its wind. I would imagine it's at least going to come test $1.60. More realistically, I'd probably expect it to come down around $1.50 or so. And that's a pretty hefty fall from closing at $1.72 on Tuesday. So relatively thinly traded stock. 254,000 shares isn't the end of the world. That's right about average for it. But for it to break through this resistance point, I'd definitely like to see a surge in volume and have the stock hold near highs of the day to solidify the idea that that resistance point will in classic TA fashion flip into support, and this upward movement will start to become the dominant pattern of the trend. So those are the things that I'll be looking for in the IPAS chart. But as always, merely my interpretation. Thank you for watching. Trade smart.